What?
It's the name of the podcast.
Oh
It's
shit, yeah. Finding our words.
oh, I wonder what I'll misname it this time.
Found their paragraphs.
It's a great joke, but I don't even have to try it. I forget the name immediately, and then just throw out something, and it's awesome.
I think I've got it. Okay, so like whenever we have a guest on, we can have them christen the podcast something new. Just rename it every
It's,
damn
it's
week.
like it's like, what do you think the name is this time?
Oh, wait, no, because like if we get somebody on who speaks another language, off the top of my head in Spanish, it would be something like buscando nos palabras.
See.
So it's literally just finding our words, but in Spanish. And I really hope we don't have any listeners who speak Spanish. Sorry, listeners, as in listeners and nerds, who speak Spanish. Because if we do, they'll probably be like, "Oh, actually, it's the subjunctive form of the second predicate twice removed that you should be using there."
While you were saying that, I had already forgotten the name, and I was about to say follow our words.
Oh my god, dude, are you okay?
This is not an uncommon thing in my family. Like my dad, he is so awful at he knows my name because I was the only boy in the family.
Huh.
I have four sisters.
Oh,
He could confuse me with the cats,
what?
who were all boys.
Oh, okay.
There was that species distinction between me and the cats. But like my sister, I don't think my dad has called any of my sisters their right name on the first try.
Oh.
Even a week and a half ago, when I was in emergency mode and I had specifically said one of my sister's names to my dad, the next message
Oh my.
he sent me, he had sent my mom to he had asked my mom to talk to my sister, and he used my younger sister's name it, immediately after. And I'm sure that he had heard my older sister's name from my mom and my younger sister, but nope. So I'm surprised he hasn't called any of my sisters like Penguin.
Oh wait. Oh shit, yeah, that's a point.
My dad's called Penguin Archimedes. They're black cat in some way,
Yeah,
tuxedo black cat, and so
small cute thing.
they both skulk around in the night.
Oh.
They both like to hang out in the middle floor in the middle of the night. Penguin more Archimedes, he passed like 4 years ago. So basically the entire time Penguin and Archimedes lived together, there was that I think I mentioned I don't know if it made it into the recording last week, but they didn't like each other.
Oh. No, it only got the first half.
I'm not certain that Penguin didn't like him or she likes to fight with cats.
Um,
Like she wants to be chased.
do they fight and end up growling and hissing at each other?
Yes.
Then no, they don't like each other.
Um,
If they're silent, it's fine, but the yelling is like stop it kind of thing with them. But I'm not an expert, it's just what I've heard.
Archimedes had, as he got older, he had specific times during the night when he had a routine. He'd go up into my dad's room to sleep a couple hours in the middle of the night, and then he'd come down to the middle floor to see if my mom was awake to get something to eat. And if she wasn't awake, he would come down to the basement to ask me to get him something to eat. Or he would do both of those. Tricksy, the little guy. He wanted to be fed twice. Penguin caught on to that routine,
Oh.
sort of.
Oh.
And so we had the stairs to the third floor. Instead of ending bottom of the stairs, it ended at a landing and then a couple more stairs down. So there was a little teeny tiny corner right next to the stairs with that basically created a hiding spot perfect for a cat.
Oh.
So Penguin would hide in that tiny corner as Archimedes walked down the stairs, and then as soon as he got to the bottom of the stairs, she'd jump out and attack him. And
I love it.
you could always hear the cats running around outstairs. And elephants, elephants. Um,
Yeah, they're like what, 10 pounds? And they
yeah,
they just They thunder.
I always think it sounds like their claws on carpet is part of it.
Hmm.
Since I wear noise canceling headphones, if I didn't hear it, I'd get a text message in the middle of the night from my mom saying, "Deal with this."
That's, yeah. At least it's not the plastic licking.
No, that's all Dazzle.
Oh.
That's Dazzle's the plastic liquor. I took control of all of my cat toys because no one in this house is responsible enough to not leave them lying around for Dazzle
Mm.
because she will eat them,
Oh, what,
especially if it's a
like actually eat them?
yes.
Oh God.
It, if she can get a piece that she can slurp down like a spaghetti, she will try, especially if
Is
it's
Dazzle okay?
she has never had to go to the vet for non-checkup reasons.
Okay.
This is another story that requires another story. Let's step back 2 years, a year and a half before. Beginning of the pandemic, when everybody was, when there were the mask shortages, at least here, I don't know about the UK. Here, they were recommending people just make their own for a while.
Yeah.
My mom, I'm not sure how detailed she got into it because at that point I was kind of being, my own chronic illness. I was as far away from everybody, including everybody in my own house.
Yeah.
Whatever attempt she made, the string she used after she threw them away. Well, she attempted to send them through the dryer, and I think they kind of disintegrated.
Uh,
So she threw them away, and we had a little garbage can in the laundry room that got taken out every once a year
hmm.
because it was no one remembered. But what happened is that she used a silver string as the ear loops,
Oh yeah.
and they got left for an extended period of time in that garbage can long enough that Penguin discovered them. I didn't have the first part of the information that my mom had made masks. I just started discovering silver string
Mm.
all around my basement. She wasn't eating, she was just chewing on it.
All right.
She didn't eat it. She barely wanted to chase it. She just wanted me to hold it out in front of her so she could chew on it or lick it.
Huh.
I collected as much as I possibly could as I found it. And then right before I moved to Virginia, I discovered the origins and I got a bunch more. And so I figured once I got here, okay, I've got to ingratiate myself with the cats of the house.
Pay your respects.
At that point, it was Dazzle and Mango.
Hmm.
Mango, that's a sad story for another day.
Oh.
Great cat. I introduced them both to the silver string, and they absolutely loved to chase it. They were about 1 year old at that. They were still crazy kittens, crazy adult kittens. I quickly noticed when I would, just hang it above them that the second they got the string into their mouths, both of them tried to eat it. They would just try to suck it down like spaghetti.
Maybe would it resemble worms to them or something?
I don't know. Dazzle may have. There's been a long-term joke about Dazzle that she's part feral. I don't know her full origin story. She was adopted at 8 weeks, so
Oh.
that's right at the end of weaning.
Mm.
I don't know if she ever saw a worm in her life because she has little interest in the outdoors.
Huh.
She likes to watch only if someone else is with her.
Okay, that's pretty social.
If no one else is there, she'll just wander off on her own and go hide in one of her caves.
Oh.
She will absolutely eat the silver string. At that point, no more silver string. Living with a bunch of kids who have absolutely no awareness that they play with the cat and then they put something down and they forget about it. It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah.
That just means more chances of, I don't want to be responsible for a bunch of silver string tying up a kitty cat's stomach.
Mm.
Silver string went away. There was a couple times where Dazzle and Mango wandered down and they immediately found where I kept the silver string. Again, I really want to know what's special about it because they found it quickly. It's not eye level. It's not cat eye level.
I mean, if it's silver, it's reflective, right? And there might be like some chemical coating that smells particularly strong to them.
I think it's chemical coating because to replace the silver string, I went with leather strips,
Hmm.
allegedly uncoated leather strips.
Hmm.
The problem I found, they loved it just as much. Again, penguin chews on them like crazy. They're leather strips all over my room, just like they were silver string. Hi, penguin.
Oi!
I see your kitty cat eyes. In true Dazzle fashion, the first set of leather string I got, she immediately tried to eat. And
Hmm.
then the second, I assumed that she broke through it immediately with her teeth because she has considerably sharper teeth than Penguin.
Hmm.
I think that's because Penguin's been chewing on me for 11 years.
Oh. I mean, no, bad.
I got even thicker, and Dazzle can chew through thick leather too. Dazzle's not allowed to have string of any type if I'm not around,
Hmm.
which is sad because that means I can't leave any string toys behind.
This is probably just my weird background again, but like if the teeth are itchy, maybe like a toothbrush thing, and that's like why they're chewing on stuff, but it's also like it could be, as you said, of being weaned a bit too quickly, or they like chewing as like a self-soothing thing, but not necessarily related to the early detachment. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah,
that's
because I've
yeah.
video of a cat yesterday of a cat that was chewing very enthusiastically on the handle of the wood of a chair.
Huh.
Obviously, the teeth marks, the old teeth marks, made it quite obvious that cat had been doing it for a long time. Weaning, let's see,
I've heard that horses do that. They chew on stuff.
cats who need a lot.
Oh.
I believe that is a sign that they were weaned too young because the cats need on their mother to help get the milk out, which is adorable, and I hope it feels good for the mommy cat.
It is very cute.
I say that, and Penguin weans. Hi, you trying to fall out of there? She's kind of like
Oh.
partially over the top of her cat tree, just looking at. She's her head's to the side, and she's blinking at me. Hi.
Oh. She's
Ah.
saying she
Okay.
loves you. Oh my god.
Um,
Not that I care, because I don't
yeah,
care, but if I did
Penguin.
care, then I would.
She doesn't always need, but she has a long history. So does Dazzle. Yeah, weaning, trying
Hmm.
to milk the string. That got weird.
Completely unrelated, a while ago, I don't know how many tangents ago, I was trying to look up the word for can't remember words, which is not ataxia, because that is to steal shit from Wikipedia. Ataxia is a neurological sign consisting of lack of voluntary coordination of muscle movements that can include gait abnormalities, speech changes, and abnormalities in eye movements that indicate dysfunction of parts of the nervous system that coordinate movement, such as the cerebellum. Was not expecting that to all be one sentence. Oh my god. Okay. Whereas the other one is aphasia, where a person may be unable to comprehend or unable to formulate language because of damage to specific brain regions. The major causes are stroke and head trauma. Prevalence is hard to determine, but aphasia due to stroke is estimated to be zero point 0.1 to
Hmm.
0.4% in the
Let's
global
see.
north,
And I wonder if
just
I've.
related to
Hi,
the
Penguin. Have we all had a stroke?
word.
Yes, have you come to join us?
Oh,
Come here. Come here, say something into the microphone. Meow,
so
meow,
cute.
meow. Oh, thank you for turning on my iPad. You're so nice. Wonder if I actually told the whole story I was originally
No.
going to tell. Hey, what was I originally talking about? What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, weaning. Since I can't leave string toys behind, I'm replacing, hopefully
Hmm.
tomorrow, I'm giving Dazzle a carrot kick toy. That's basically a
Oh.
crinkle, gigantic carrot-shaped toy that's as long as a cat. You know how cats like to grab onto something and just kick it like crazy? That.
Yeah. Oh, that explains why it's a kick toy. God, I had no idea. I thought you're supposed to kick it like a soccer ball and the cat would like go fetch it or something.
No,
That makes so much more sense.
those are ones I've had to make up myself. Can't get any of my cats to play soccer. Huh. Oh, yes. Say something, Penguin. You're right here against the mic. Say meow. She's very sh she's very shy.
Penguin, I love you. Oh,
Penguin,
oh, oh,
I guess
oh.
the fact that you're not standing on the other side of my curtain means you're not a threat to me. She
Yeah, that's fair.
she actively defends me from everybody. She's quite hostile.
Oh, oh, oh.
She's not actually attacked anybody, as far as I know. As far as I know.
I
Yes.
think she just likes you, dude.
Since I've lived in a basically right next to the laundry room for almost her entire life, anytime anybody comes to the
Hmm.
laundry room, or into my room in this case, she tries to chase them out. Oh, you're so nice.
Hmm.
You're so...
So, in the interest of having some structure and topic, theme, any texture to this, as opposed to just telling stories, which is also fun, I had some notes in the first section. Da 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 is catch up from episode one. So the first bit is the question that I meant to ask last time, and I completely blanked on it, which is coffee granules and cereal.
Happy Grant. What?
Coffee granules and cereal.
Uh, uh, is that a thing? Oh, interesting.
It's a thing that I
Uh,
do.
well,
I swear it tastes nice.
mm,
I also use
mhm.
plant milk, so because I'm lactose intolerant.
Like, do you just like do you just go into the, wherever your coffee grinder or Folgers or ground coffee and just scoop out some coffee and dump it in?
Uh, uh, I'm gonna go full coffee nerd here. But granules, what I
Oh.
mean by that is the instant coffee, whereas ground coffee is it is the coffee beans that has been ground into a fine or coarse powder that you then put that into like a proper coffee machine or cafetiere or espresso maker or whatever. I'm talking like they're little rock shaped kind of things. You put them in water and they dissolve. Instant coffee
Hmm.
granules.
Yeah, I guess I've okay, that makes so it kind of so it's not you're not eating a coarse cereal. It turns into
Yeah, no,
a coffee milk.
it's not fuzzy.
Okay.
It's just a little bit
Okay,
bitter.
okay, okay. You depending on the cereal, I'm more on board.
Mm.
Chocolate cereal,
Mm.
um, like a mocha instant coffee, plant-based
Oh.
yeah, it's all plants. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like if you get a vanilla chocolate coffee with soy milk, that's a four bean soup or whatever.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that is way better than I was imagining.
And now you're going to try it and you will love
Oh,
it.
I wish.
Although
I
maybe.
wish. No.
Wait, can you not have coffee?
I can.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm certain that it's absolutely no issue. Getting my dad to retire is going to be an
Hmm.
interesting. He likes his job too much.
Yeah, get him a hobby or
I
something.
know the problem is I think his job would become his hobby. See, he's turned
Wait, he could be a mentor.
my dad. He's an editor, but he's kind of become a jack of all trades in the editing. He's become a programmer editor.
Mm. Oh
Um,
no.
So he is actually kind of indispensable to his job. He set up a lot of the processes that they go through, publish. Someone else could learn them. Absolutely could learn them. Everybody else that works there is an editor, and the number of editors that are also Perl programmers are, none. Or are not looking for a job at my dad's work.
What about the number that do COBOL?
They may have actually skipped the COBOL level there. They were doing plate printing up until up until the turn of the century, so and none of their old they skipped from paper records to straight to computerized records. So they may have 'cause I remember the whole year 2000 stuff was going on. Absolutely nothing. My dad talked a lot about it, about the stuff updating stuff at home, but nothing, and he never mentioned anything ever having to worry about it at work.
Hopefully that's a good sign.
Hopefully. That's 24 years ago, so I hope to be supporting myself soon, is the moral of that story. As much as I like to do
Yeah,
nothing for every day.
Hard save. I'm just constantly like, what do I do with my time? I actually have time now outside of like managing insomnia or like depression or whatever. Like when I actually
Yeah.
have time, I'm just like, okay, so my wrist hurts, so I'm not going to play games or do art. My friends are asleep, or, one of them's gone back to uni or whatever. They're busy at the moment.
Mhm.
Outside of like doing this podcast, what do I do? Not even just how do I contribute to society, just like how do I fill
Mhm.
my time? What is my occupation of doing, like existing? You can't just sit and stare at
Mhm.
the wall for too many hours. You go
Yeah.
nuts.
See, I'm not against the idea of some people can just they don't have to work. I'm cool with that. It's
Yeah,
a me thing.
yeah.
I can't stop thinking
Oh,
is
yep, yep.
it's not gotten better. Since I've dealt with my sleep deprivation, I think more and more. The very fact that this conversation is happening is related to the fact that, in a way, I could not have done this 7 months ago. My brain wasn't
Mm,
at that point. Since then, I've gone,
same.
I wouldn't say, when I say off the deep end, it's just a joke. My brain has decided to wake up and just say all the words I've ever wanted to say all at once.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm just waiting for. I'm certain that this isn't going. My sitting at home doing nothing isn't gonna, or sitting at home should be packing. This is going to last forever, but
Hmm. I mean, everyone needs a break now and then, even if not chronically ill or disabled or whatever people like. Even if you have the best work-life balance, it's almost like you're not alive when you're at work or something. Even if you have like really supportive family and good support network socially, and you have a third place to go that isn't work or home, you have like you feel comfortable and all of your needs are met, all of your wants are reasonably looked after. There is still just sometimes you just need a break. Like that's why annual leave is a thing.
yep.
Like it's not just supposed to be for covering sick leave.
Oh yeah, well
Apparently.
that's what I used it for. In my last career, my supervisor really hated that.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck else? What do you want me to do? Just take time
Well,
off?
like,
Like it's not like I have enough of that
'cause,
anyway.
um, I had to take off. I had
Hmm.
a certain amount of guaranteed off out extra off hours, FMLA,
Hmm.
Family Medical Leave Act,
Nice.
which allows for,
Oh, okay, right, not
yeah,
FMLA, like
it it allowed me like eight, I don't remember, it's been a while, extra guaranteed time off, not with pay,
Hmm.
unless I had to use my own sick leave or annual leave to get paid, but I took it because
Hmm.
I had to just to function at that job.
Yeah.
And in addition to being very chronically ill.
Yeah, but only on your own
Yeah.
time. Cause otherwise it's rude.
Yeah, it could, well, see, like, the entire time when I started there, I had a great supervisor. She had gotten to herself into a position where she had discretion on how she handled things.
Hmm.
As long as I met my metrics, my keystrokes per hour, then she didn't care what
Hmm.
I did.
That is genuinely the best manager where they're just like, you seem to be managing yourself
Yeah,
just fine. I guess I'll leave you to it. I won't bother you with random
yeah,
nonsense.
yeah. And I did. I absolutely, by real metrics of that job, I was a great employee. But if you looked at it from, did I take an extra 2 minutes break? Because it takes
How
me,
dare you?
I mean, I was right next to the restroom, but I haven't walked fast in a long
Hmm.
time. 5 minutes is not long enough for me. But like I said, my first supervisor didn't care. My second long-term supervisor, despite meeting metrics, that's what she looked at. She obsessed over it.
Hmm.
And I think the only reason she didn't come
Yeah.
down hard on me is because she was afraid of a disability lawsuit from me.
Hmm. Yeah, but they still magically find that the budget doesn't quite stretch to
Yeah.
next year.
See, I mentioned metrics. I mentioned I hated my second supervisor. And if she ever listens to this, Shelly, I hate you.
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
care.
Jeez. All right, well, if we're bringing that out, I'm still very angry at allegedly one of my managers at my last job who, statistically speaking, was very likely to have infected me with COVID, but I cannot prove that. However, they did come in ill because their manager had them come in ill, despite the fact that their partner tested positive the day before. And
What?
how do I put it? Like the grand manager, you know, in family terms, had my manager come in and they were testing at their desk less than a meter away. And I get it. They had a lot of caring responsibilities and money and stuff. And I get it. Everything is stressful. But also, I've literally lost a year of my fucking life because this person could not say no to the other person, or I don't know, open the window more, or ask me to leave, or test in their car, like walk in for a couple of seconds, you know,
Uh,
grab the test kit, go back to their car, test it, and then go, oh, this is positive. I need to be off site now. There were options that were not taken. And now
I
I,
assume this was long after instant 15-minute tests became available.
yep, yep,
But
yep. Yeah, you still had to pay
what?
for them at that point. So
I
in the
mean,
UK, they didn't exist to begin with because obviously nobody had them. So first couple months, nobody knows. This was July, no, June, July, I think, 2022. So there were
what?
tests. You did have to pay for them because there was a bit where they were free. But then at that point, you paid for them. But this was somebody who was, they earned more than me. I'm sure they could afford the fucking test.
It, it,
I,
what?
I would have paid for the test for them, frankly, because
Yeah.
I didn't want to get ill. I was already very ill, and yeah, like I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure I got brain damage from that. Like, although I will say, I wouldn't recommend it. I think this is the thing I was gonna say last time. Turning off your brain turns out COVID slash long COVID kind of a good way to do that. I don't recommend it. It's like trying to get diabetes to lose weight. It's really not worth all the side effects, but yeah, for that month or three immediately after infection, yeah, my brain did not work.
Oh
Like
my
like
goodness.
walk to the bathroom, forget what I'm doing, and just kind of
Oh my
stand there like a
goodness.
fucking zombie, you know? Like there were no words.
My
There was no
goodness.
light on. Nobody was home. The entire neighborhood was vacant.
My goodness. That is awful.
Eh. But you know, the masks are bad apparently. Ah.
You know, you know how much that upset
Yeah.
the masks alone. Like, I actually had, I have a legitimate excuse if I didn't want to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I literally have a condition that I could legitimately excuse myself from wearing a mask,
Yeah.
and I still wore a mask.
Yep. I know someone else like that. Like, you know, the kind of anxiety of like, I am dying right now, like level
Hmm.
of claustrophobia, anxiety thing. I know somebody like that who still put it on to go to a funeral because they didn't want to be associated or potentially, you know, obviously carry transmission, infection, whatever. But they also didn't want to be associated with anti-maskers. So they put up with that. They were just there, not even mentally there because they spent the whole time just dealing with this constant like oh god I've got to rip this thing off feeling, so
Oh
it's
yeah,
like just
yeah. It took me forever to find a mask that I could wear, but
mm,
I, it from the second masks became required. I have not been anywhere willingly without a mask. I even wore a mask the entire time I was in the hospital last year,
oh god that must have been
and I didn't have to.
mm,
I was also in the pneumonia wing, so
oh
well, I was sent in for one weekend for a stomach ulcer.
mm,
That was a hilarious weekend. If you want to know the what ultimately led to what's happening right now in my life, that's kind of where it started.
oh
Stomach ulcer that ended up in the emergency room, got pneumonia, spent a
Jesus,
couple more days in the I'm certain I got pneumonia from the emergency room.
yeah
Um
unfortunately
and I had a nice private room.
mm,
It was still not my own bedroom.
yeah
Based on the doctor walked in, and if I can't sleep, being sick is not going to make me sleep unless I am really sick.
yeah
And I haven't gotten to that point. I was probably technically sick enough that I should have been asleep, but I was just sitting there awake the entire time, and every time the doctor walked in, they were baffled that me just sitting up in bed because it was so uncomfortable to sleep in that
Yeah.
hospital bed. Yeah, I get it. I'm sick, but this bed is 3 inches too short for
Mm,
me, and my feet are hitting the end of it, and it hurts, and I don't want to be in it. It's not my pillows.
mm.
There's no penguin. There's no cat
Oh,
fur everywhere.
the cat fur really helps.
You know, uh, it will never happen, but I do wonder how much of my breathing problems are caused by the constant cat fur, because I am allergic. When I got an allergy test right before COVID,
Oh my God.
yeah, I heard the asthma inhaler, I think. Um,
Oh, that was just me wheezing.
oh, well, I know. Okay, that's why I recognized it.
I
When I
probably do need
got
to take it more.
when I got my when I got an allergy test, at the very top of the list, above all the plants in the world that I was allergic to, right at the top, cat,
I,
far above everything else.
have you heard of a
Like,
HEPA filter?
I have many HEPA filters.
Oh God. Oh no. Um, I don't know what to. Oh God.
Well, I
Oh
mean,
wait. Oh sorry.
all my HEPA filters came after I got that test,
Mm,
so I don't. I mean, my breathing's gone. It has been, even if my breathing is already was already at a point that even if I got removed all cat fur from my life, it would
mm,
probably not be noticeable.
mm. There are cats. 'Cause I used to have a fuck. I can't remember if he was a Cornish Rex or a Devon Rex, but I had one of them. The one where they have like the curly hair, not the one,
Yeah.
not like a Sphinx where it's literally just no hair. And I think it was the one that I had, but his name was Ziggy. He was very cute, but very dumb, and honestly kind of a bully to our other cat, Marcus. I There is some breed of cat that doesn't produce dander or something, or there's like the oil that causes problems. It wouldn't solve all of it, and obviously they're not quite as fluffy, but they are very cute and very
Yeah.
snuggly because they're colder,
They,
so
yeah.
sometimes you use dark clothing.
Yeah. My younger sister very briefly had a Sphinx. I
Oh,
don't know. I've named Sunday. It was named his full name is was born on the Sabbath.
huh. Yeah, I was gonna ask, do you mean like the dessert or the day? But yeah.
If I ever post pictures of young orange cats with
Oh.
sniffing a very naked cat, that's Sunday. Very
Oh.
naked.
Yeah, Ziggy was like that. The thing that cats do, where it's like it's a sign of trust that they show you their butt or whatever, and it's just
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, when there's no fur, it's very apparent that that is the bottom of an animal.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know if you've ever seen a non-neutered cat,
Uh,
naked cat.
oh,
Yeah, it
oh,
is.
okay, right, I see.
Yeah, gigantic. For a cat.
Yeah, no, ours were usually neutered like within a couple of weeks of getting them. Like there was no. So my mom is very pushy about always having indoor cats.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then in the States, like declawed or whatever, but these days, not as much. There was no risk of, and we've never really had like a girl cat except for once when I was like 6. So no risk of pregnancy or anything like that. It's more
Uh-huh.
just like the spraying. They were
Yeah,
always
yeah,
neutered very quickly. So it
yeah.
wasn't quite the birds and the bees talk. It was more just like, hey, the cats, if they show you their butt or whatever, that is testicles. That's just a thing. And I was just like, okay. And then I had the actual birds and the bees talk later, and I was like, oh. And then somebody had to point out that I know it's an explicit rating, and I'm like talking in very medical terms here, but basically, like I do not understand like someone had to explain, I guess. Like I just thought that's what cats look like. I don't know. And then I saw a horse, and I was just like, oh,
Oh,
that is an interestingly shaped and proportioned organ. Uh,
yeah. You know, I remember the transition between not noticing stuff like that because I have no memories of my first cat's behind. I'm sure he showed it to me,
yeah,
but
because look, it doesn't matter, and then you become an adult and you get the sex talks, and you're like, oh, right, so that's the same as this other thing. Oh,
yeah, of course I had to really, when I got Penguin, shaved on the belly,
oh,
very obvious
oh, yeah,
there,
because they have like
everything.
8 nipples or something.
Uh-huh.
That's so weird. Imagine, like, what kind of bikini would you wear?
Hi, Penguin. Well,
Sorry, don't tell her
well,
I'm being rude. I'm so sorry.
if we're covering let's see, it would have to would it so it has to go through the tail. That tail has to go through it.
Oh
Because we
yeah.
gotta cover up that booty hole. Um,
Yeah, that's the
um,
thing that always gets me about like animal clothing of so they have a tail, so obviously you need to design around
yeah,
that anyway. But it's also like how do you put clothing on a cat or a dog or even a horse, I guess, where they don't soil it because it's an animal, they don't care. Like
yeah.
I mean obviously, they clean themselves, but
Back to Sunday, he only
oh
wore,
yeah.
he never wore pants that I'm aware
Would a
of.
cat wear pants like
Um,
this or like this?
but he did wear, I think he wore baby t-shirts. Um,
What?
I'm certain he would have gotten more clothing if he had lived longer.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of the
But
I don't know, unusual breeds, they do tend to have health problems. Like Ziggy. He just had a weird appetite. He was constantly eating.
Sunday he had heart problems, and
Oh.
I think my sister is still owed another replacement Sphinx cat.
Oh.
I don't think she's taken up the offer because she got a big white dog,
Oh.
Polaris of the North.
Oh, does she watch anime?
Yes,
Okay, right. It's Spy Family? Spy X Family? I'm not sure.
it's family.
It's a pretty recent one. It's so my partner does history or did history. I did physics, and he said it's a very strange tone because to me, I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, cute. Okay, to be fair, the main character is like this spy, and he's pretty hot. I like that aspect of like, okay, so there's a spy and there's an assassin, and the kid has like knowledge that she shouldn't. But then a bit later on, like season 2 or something, they get a dog, and it's a really big white dog. So I didn't know if that was related, if she was an anime fan.
I'll have to ask. They get to meet Polaris in just a couple weeks.
They just had a movie out, by the way. It's probably not in cinemas anymore, or I don't know if the release schedule is weird in the States, but the movie was good too. Lloyd was hot in that too. He's really cute. Look at his stupid fucking face and his fucking hair. And he pretends to be a psychiatrist.
What's the name of the anime?
Spy, and then the letter X, family.
Ah, Polaris. Okay, let's see. Spy X Family. Um,
There is probably a lot of Rule 34, Chris, you're listening, please do not look that up, of the wife,
yeah,
Yor.
my brain has already been destroyed.
Uh, Basically, the internet really, really likes the look of the chick, which is fair. She is curvy and she does wear not like,
Is
the
she the
typical
fan
anime
service?
stuff, but like
Mm,
I guess the Japanese vision of what they think Europeans wear, maybe. But like obviously it's set in like the Cold War era in like a fictionalized Germany, fictionalized and probably very whitewashed. So like they don't go into anti-Semitism or anti-Zyganism, the thing where they don't like travelers or whatever. Like they don't
mm.
go into any of that. It's more just like about the politics of the era is like the whole setup is Lloyd, the spy, is trying to stop a war by getting some military dude in the East Country. What's it called? So West Dallas is the west one, Ostania is the east one. So he's trying to get an Ostanian military dude to like not do a war or something. But
Hmm.
to do that, he needs to talk to him, and he's like a super hermit. So to talk to him, he needs to get through him from his kid, who's enrolled in a super high school, and that's where the pink haired girl comes in because she's a kid and she can go to that school and then make friends with the kid. So then the spy can talk to the military dude. But you've got to have a good happy family, so that's where the chick comes in because she needs to also avoid. It's I used to hate history, and then I started watching this show and then actually caring about it. It was like, oh my god, politics can be interesting. It's not just like old dudes complaining about money. Oh my god. No offense to old dudes who do care about money. Like there is interesting things in that. I'm not an economist. I just mean like there is more to it, like, 15-minute cities or
Hmm.
heat pump energy grants or whatever. Like, I'm not making that sound interesting at all. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. What is interesting is that I'm going to add this to my watch list
Oh,
if my server will boot up.
yay. So I watched it on Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll now has like profiles. So if you have a friend,
Uh,
perhaps, who has access to your account unbeknownst to you, you can also just have separate lists, so you don't have to like fight over whose harem anime gets spoiled or whatever. Oh, right. I mean,
harem anime is
okay,
actually a thing and not
like
just a joke.
yes, harem animes are
I
definitely a
mean,
thing. Reverse
I've
harem
heard of them, but
animes, I don't want to be rude about it, but at the same time, it's usually just the most boring, self-centered young dude, because they're almost always teenagers, being attacked, like glomped even, by super big titty chicks and just being like, oh no, not the boobs. And that's fine. Everybody,
yeah.
titillation is not
Okay.
necessarily a bad thing, yada yada. Very limited in the other direction, although obviously then you have this power dynamics in any case, but like just give me hot dudes being cute and knowing that they're cute, and it's just like the swooning will happen, all right? It sells itself. Anyway. Or chicks, bi people exist.
I'm learning a lot today. I assume the opposite also exists. One chick going against a bunch of teenage dudes
That should
and
exist.
one
I guess that's kind of
one daddy
Castlevania
of
before it gets weird and anti-trans at the last season for no reason.
vaguely familiar with the concept. The only weird
Yeah.
part if we're one female character against a bunch of male characters
Oh, God.
is the father figure that they'd have to. I don't know how they would play that character without it becoming, they don't always make the father figure a
Yeah,
non-creepy
like
character
there's
in anything.
I don't know in the States, but over here there's a phrase for dad bod, as in a dude who's like in his 30s or 40s, rounded. Not necessarily fat, although sometimes not necessarily like looks like a chick, just not
Uh,
as angular as like a young man would be.
uh,
And having that basically having the rough edges
mhm.
sanded off a bit, like in personality as well, of just be cuddly being like, how do I put it? Firm, I guess. Like they're not super strict about everything. They can be if they need to be like, oi, don't run out into the road if there's traffic. You scared the shit out of me, that kind of thing. But generally just letting people be. Or maybe that's just my interpretation, but like to me the phrase dad bod refers to that specifically, of like someone who isn't a young man anymore, but who is also not an old man. That archetype is awesome, but you just
Uh-huh.
never fucking see it in anime ever. I think that's what Lloyd is to me personally. Like
Okay.
he's
Yeah, I
still
could.
got like the
Okay,
angular
I
thing, and
could.
that's like obviously
I could
stylized,
get into.
but like being a competent, like self-possessed person who's lightly masculine, and that's not necessarily a good or bad thing. That's just like who they are and how they interact with the world, but they're also just like not a douche, and that's it. Just like the bare minimum of like human dude, just not bad. you know Not to get in the whole bear or dude conversation, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bandit on Bluey. Yeah, I know who you're talking. Bandit on Bluey. If you've ever watched
oh, is
Bluey.
Bandit the dad?
Yes.
Oh no. Yeah, no, I've heard really good things about that show.
I mean, I mean, I'm absolutely certain somebody. I don't know how much Bluey you've watched, or if any.
I like I like that they put it in a kids show because it's like it's subtle enough that the kids aren't probably gonna pick up on it, but like any adults who've been through that will, and like it's not good to remind them if it's still like fresh, but if it's something they wanted to talk about it, they could like mention it to other parents and be like, hey, that episode, yeah, yeah, we've been through that, and they'll be like, oh shit, yeah, like, do you
Yeah,
want to talk about
that's
it, kind of
that's
thing.
basically what the Bluey subreddit is is uh going through all the episodes and the people finding stuff they relate to.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
So anybody out there, I highly recommend it. It is as good as the craziness that people look past the crazy parents that you always
Mm.
worry about television shows that parents get a little bit too attached to. The Wiggles.
Yeah.
The Wiggles is one of them.
What the hell is the Wiggles?
The Wiggles is an Australian
Australian.
performance group. The Wiggles
That
originally
was ominous.
kind of they're say children an Australian children's music group. They've been around since the early 90s. They had a TV show at one point, and they do tours for children's concerts. Originally they it was all just guys. Um when, as they've aged, I don't think there are any there may be a couple of the original members out, but they age, and there are parents who are really attached to the Wiggles members, really. They to the point that when the first first female member of the Wiggles started, a lot of people were very upset about that.
Why? What?
Um,
What?
they
Is this the 50s?
I don't know. Is this the 50s? I have no
It
idea.
feels like it at this
I
point.
don't know.
Fucking Roe v. Wade being
Yeah.
overturned and people being upset that there are women on a children's musical group. Sorry. I'm trying not to be political and angry, I
I
swear.
I don't know if it's like angry at women or like some creepy, like they just want to watch, like they're fetishizing the Wiggles. Um,
All right, I'm gonna put that in a promo. That needs to go on Instagram. I don't.
I mean, like,
Okay. Oh fuck.
part of me wants to go and read the really creepy forums the creepy fan clubs.
No, no, don't delve in. Don't do it.
Like,
Save yourself. You deserve better.
I
Play
deserve better.
Undertale.
I mean, there are a lot of creepy like BTS fan clubs that I could wander into. I'm sure they're all a good group, but
I have an audience participation thing. Use hashtag find our words pod. Is that it? I think that's it. Find our words pod. What's a good Korean, like a good K drama to get into? I'm on Mastodon. I don't check Twitter. Fuck Twitter.
I believe
I just because you said BTS, and
it-
then I was like, wait, shit, yeah, because my sister's into K dramas, or was, I don't know.
my sister
Mhm.
took her Korean obsession very seriously. She actually spent a considerable amount of time learning Korean and basically only watches
Oh,
Korean television shows.
terebi, fuck. So this will be Japanese, not Korean, because I don't know like a Korean. Tere terebi o miteiru mi miteiru. Oh, fuck. I either I either said watching TV or staring at
Staring.
TV. Like, because it's like mite or miru is like to see, but it's not like to see a friend. It's more like you're staring at a friend, like you are closely watching them
Fahrenheit 451.
or something.
Yes. Yes.
I have
That's
no idea how to translate that.
But have you read Fahrenheit 451?
It's about book burning, and it's something like
Yeah, well,
1984, which I've read
um
1984.
book burning, yes. Guy Montag, the main character, is a firefighter who, spoiler alert for a 80-year-old book.
How could
Uh
you? Sorry.
books have been banned but there are still people who basically collect them, and firefighters have turned into a group who go around burning books. Basically they burn houses full of books. Guy Montag, the main character, is a firefighter. The story of Fahrenheit 451 is his kind of transformation where he meets his life is finally realizes that his life is kind of pointless when he meets I believe the term is fridge character, where they kill off the trope where they introduce a
Yeah.
female character who they then kill as a way to motivate the male main character. In this case, it was a teenage girl, non-romantic teenage
My
character.
God,
Uh,
they exist?
yes. I don't know why
Oh
I
yeah.
clarified that, but in fact, I don't even know. He meets her. He's in that world. Most of the teenagers are out, at amusement parks or racing around the world in fast cars all the time as a way to distract from the oncoming nuclear war.
Wow, this is getting a bit real.
Yeah. He's surprised when he sees a teenage girl wandering around muttering and singing to herself. Turns out that he's disaffected with life, if that's the right word, because his wife is basically addicted to the television. In in that world, the television encompasses the entire wall. And in
Jesus.
fact, you could have televisions on multiple sides. You can basically, he's spending most of his money supporting his wife's TV addiction, where
Oh.
somehow TV shows become more real as you add more televisions, as you transform more walls
Oh,
into
so like
televisions.
IMAX?
Yes. Yes.
Oh God.
The actual reason why it's relevant is the wife, she treats the people on the television as like friends, family, aunts and uncles. In fact, everybody does. When somebody wants the television turned off, they say shut the aunts and uncles up, stuff like that.
Mm.
The relationship is so recognized as that there are even television programs you can order.
Ooh.
Okay. Um, what
You were saying about 451, and
oh yeah, yeah,
saying
okay.
shut the
Yeah.
aunts and uncles up.
Shut the aunts and uncles up. So, um, you could also order like television shows where you, as the person in the center of the room, would play a part, where
Hmm.
they would send you a script. When it was your part, all the characters on the various televisions would turn to face you. That's how creepy and close people became with their televisions in that world.
Yipes. That bears no resemblance to our current reality whatsoever.
Yeah,
Oh boy. I'm gonna have to
I
read that
promise.
though. Well,
It is.
frankly, I'm probably gonna get an audiobook, but yeah. I'd probably get it through libro.fm
Yeah, yeah.
because like they just independent yada yada whatever. And I don't need to. One thing I do want to get in. I don't know how long we're gonna keep recording for, but before I forget, last podcast episode, since we only had like the first half and you were telling a story about Penguin getting freaked out, so whenever you showed the glove, she would just stop. That was the end of the episode because like there was no second part and I thought, oh fuck it, that'll be kind of funny. Like it'll make audience members feel exactly how Penguin feels when she sees a glove. To clarify to my partner's mom, yeah, that was kind of intentional. I I thought I was doing a clever, funny thing just to like give people a bit of a jolt and like empathize with the cat or something. I don't know. Oh, and I had a friend who said they liked "Where Is Your Hinge," and someone else really liked that I said, "What the fuck is the name again?" when I was introducing the podcast for the first time. Audience participation. Woo.
Well, good. Do you want me to finish the glove story? Moral of the glove story, people, is I don't play with gloves.
Hmm.
I have to go mano a mano with Penguin
Oh.
without gloves.
Oh, yeah, what about transparent gloves?
You know, I'd have to find transparent gloves.
Not nylon,
Nylon,
latex.
yeah,
Obviously, that wouldn't help too much, but.
it would be destroyed immediately.
Oh, artist glove?
Artist
Do you
glove.
do digital art?
No,
Okay. If you imagine a regular glove and then cut off the index and middle fingers and
yes.
the tip of the thumb, it's holding onto the outer bottom part, so it's covering the palm for palm projection,
Yeah, yeah.
but you still have
Uh,
your middle three finger, sorry, your near inner three fingers to like do the zooming in and out thing.
hmm, intriguing. Looking at a picture of, I think I would go insane wearing that one of those.
It does feel fucking
Um,
weird, but you do get used to it. And wow, it once you get the fit right, it is actually really helpful for art on a tablet.
Interesting. I've never been despite my partial creative degree,
Oh,
um,
what'd you do?
me and more of a video production, sort of audio production.
Oh,
Um,
I'm gonna get you in touch with one of
but
my friends because they did that. But yeah,
I didn't really do it. I'm going into work I'm a web developer, so
nerd.
by trade. The fact that I could do a degree that could combine something I was actually interested in doing for fun,
Hmm,
the video production, something creative, having something that would get me something that would pay me.
hmm,
I mean, I've done video production as a paid job.
hmm.
I edited and co-produced do you know what a and I'm not and as I like to take on tasks that I have no idea what I'm doing
That's how you learn.
at the beginning. Well, that's how I learned. I knew how to do video production, but VR is a whole different animal.
Hmm.
At least at that time. I don't know. I know for a fact that all the software I used then is now long out of business. Probably, the technology has been bought by somebody and yada yada yada.
Yeah, ain't it always
Um,
a way?
yeah, I spent a couple months getting together, designing and producing a virtual reality dome video and a dome video for the planetarium. That's a planetarium. That's the word I'm looking for.
Ah,
Planetarium.
okay, yeah.
Um,
I think there's one of those in
so
the National Space Center, and is a really tiny town in the middle of nowhere over here in England called Leicester. I think it's actually pronounced Leicester, but they have an Astra Plana thing. You just said almost just being really mean. I have friends there.
yeah, planetarium.
And they could be like, yeah.
Astra Planetarium.
Sorry, just to be clear, it is actually Leicester. But yeah,
I'm looking at a picture of it. Makes sense.
just felt like dunking on it.
Oh,
They don't. Wait,
yeah.
we don't have
What?
Dunkin' Donuts here, but we do have Krispy Kreme. Oh my God! If you ever go to I was gonna say the UK/England, don't fucking go to Taco Bell because Taco Bell opened up here and it's just horrible because they can't use the same like E numbers and like yellow 45 or whatever the hell. I don't know who the hell it's aimed at because it doesn't taste like Taco Bell, it doesn't taste like tacos, and it doesn't taste like food. It just tastes like cardboard, but not even
How do you?
like the nachos from the movie theater kind of cardboard. Literally just soggy
Oh,
cardboard.
how in the world do you mess up?
I know.
Like Taco Bell is the simplest. Their entire menu is basically combining three ingredients.
Yeah,
How do you mess that up? I can do it at home. They sell this stuff at home. You can do it at home.
yeah,
It's that easy.
yeah. That's the weird thing. Like
Huh.
you can get the old El Paso meal kits, and I swear to God, I live on them at this point. But like just the nachos ones. I know it's not proper Mexican food, but like it's really easy. Like even for me, even on a okay, well, not a bad day, but on on a good day, I could just like open it and then go bleh and then bleh, forget about it for a few hours. But eventually I'll eat it. But it tastes like nachos. Whereas like I went to Taco Bell once or twice here and it was depressing. I don't know who
I
their
mean,
audience is.
I mean, they're already turning Taco Bell's into a depressing corporate boring place. I mean, the food is still, Taco Bell.
I mean, you've been to
Um,
McDonald's, right? Like it's all aimed at like
yeah,
young professionals now.
that's sad. I have
If-
there are a couple places that I go to solely to say hi to people.
oh yeah, a
Uh,
third place.
The McDonald's near my house was one of them.
Hmm.
If I didn't have that, I would never go into a McDonald's because it's so depressing and sad.
Yeah.
I
Although
don't want to be a what?
so you know how they gave toys with meals or whatever, but now it's like aimed at
Yeah.
adults. So like if they gave adult toy meal things at McDonald's, I think more people would go.
Well,
I swear I wasn't trying to get political with this episode, but I know this was years ago, but there was a thing in like it was one of the A states, I think. It was like Arizona, Alabama or something. One of those where you couldn't get a marital aid unless you had permission from your husband or something. But it's like
I think that's
hmm?
Texas.
Oh God. I think it's similar or was similar in Saudi Arabia, I think. 'Cause it's like if you're single, it's like okay, well, but if it's a married, it's like to assist with baby making, then it makes like there is a logic to it, but equally it's like I mean, just see like adults. I don't know. That's just me, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the Texas obscenity statute. And oddly enough, it's not old.
Wait,
It
what?
was in 1973. It
That's
um
kind of. Is it old? I don't even know anymore.
compared to the other laws that they tried to invoke to ban abortion or
Oh yeah,
successfully,
that was like the 40s.
those the in the case of Arizona, it was the 1840s.
Huh.
1860s. Before Arizona was even a state.
I mean, there wasn't anything going on in the
But
1860s, so.
uh, definitely not nothing.
Yeah, it's not like
Parent
they
aid.
told us about it literally every single fucking year in every single
You
school,
know,
just in case we hadn't heard about it.
I think there are a lot of people who legitimately have not.
Oh shit, really?
My school, yeah, I think there are a lot of people in the South, especially, that have no idea. That real like,
Oh, I retract my snark.
which like you surprised me. My elementary school had a extremely deep. We had a very involved lesson plan
Mm.
to the point where we'll skip that story for now. Even like sixth grade, when we knew the brutality
Mm,
of the slave trade. When I moved out here and what I've read online, there are a lot of people who did not have those same lessons.
mm.
During the brief time I was able to drive rideshare in Baltimore, which is a fun story on its own, I came across a guy who had no idea that the Confederate States ever existed. Or he
What?
only had a vague idea.
What does he think the Confederate flag is for then?
Oh, I have no idea. You know,
I mean, besides historical LARPing.
and he was not he was a nurse practitioner, so he went to
Okay, fair
school.
enough. Yeah, it's not really
um
super relevant then.
I'm saying he act yeah, everybody should know, but he
Yeah,
went to school.
yeah.
um I should say he lived 60 miles away from Virginia, the South.
69 miles.
um Actually, that is, yes, actually that would be very close
You can't
because
keep enabling
it's
my BS, man. Or I have a friend, I
I
keep
can't
saying
help
man,
it.
and she keeps going, man? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Like, madam. Because it's very. Anyway,
I cannot help it. I just say things and
I'll say
I
things
don't
to your
even think.
mom.
Well, that'd be interesting. I think my mom would ignore, but people have tried.
Tell her she's gay.
That would be an interesting thing to learn. No, I'm certain she's not. I had that conversation
Eh.
unintentionally.
Oh, fair enough.
Not specifically that one,
Hmm.
but I take a medication for my pulmonary arterial hypertension called sildenafil.
Oh,
And
that's a
if you
new
don't
one.
know what sildenafil is,
Never heard of it.
it also goes by Viagra.
I'm so sorry. Right, I
Yes.
see.
And I said those words, not specifically Viagra out loud, but I've never been shy about discussing because
You're an
uh,
adult. You're
uh,
both adults.
I'm an adult, and frankly, my parents are, as at least partially, since I have lived and I'm going to live with my parents, they have a right to know. They need to know about my medical history.
Mm, yeah.
I've gone into detail about my medications, and I did not, when I mentioned sildenafil, not Viagra, sildenafil. My mom made a offhand comment about her how upset she was that the prescription for sildenafil didn't work as well as she had hoped it would for my
Oh,
dad.
oh, oh, that's less funny.
Um,
Oh. Everybody deserves good sex, or not. Everybody
I
deserves
agree,
what they want. You know. Sorry,
but
it's your parents. I just
it's
mean like you know.
one of the reasons I'm never telling my parents that I'm recording a podcast.
Fair
They
enough. I
don't.
did just yeah. I mean, we could cut this part out if you like.
I don't care.
Okay.
My mom would definitely not care.
I mean, as long as you
And
don't mention her name, I don't think anyone's gonna track her down anyway and be like, "Hey, you once had a frank conversation with your adult child about
well,
a
yeah,
specific thing that was contextually relevant."
my identity is not hard to track down.
Yeah, like you got your.
Since I have my full name on my profile.
Yeah, how the fuck?
Sadly, by the fact that another person by my name in my hometown died.
Oh,
I never met him, but I had indirect encounters with him a lot.
wait, he had
We
the
got
same name as
confused.
you in the same town you never met.
Nope.
Nobody ever thought, "Hey,
He
this
was
will be a good laugh."
really funny thing is he would have gone to high school at the same time as my oldest sister.
How many? Oh yeah, four.
I have four, two older, two younger.
Gay.
So
Sorry.
uh,
Tell your sisters they're gay.
uh, youngest one,
Okay, well, tell her she's bi or ace or
Les,
something. I don't know.
lesbian.
If somebody's
Uh,
already gay, you can't just go up to him and be like, "Hey, you're gay," 'cause they know. Look, I'll get back to you.
Actually, I only learned he existed because when his one of his grandparents, maybe his parents, died.
Hmm.
It happened when I was in seventh grade, and
Hmm.
his name showed up in my hometown obituaries.
It,
As a surviving descendant of such and such.
hmm.
There was only one small city. There was only one major paper.
Hmm.
Everybody read the same paper. When that happened, my history teacher pulled me aside, asked if I was okay.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet, but I had no idea what was going on. So I hadn't read the obituaries.
Hmm.
They weren't relevant to me. I was, do you need any assistance with your, one of your family members? It was made more confusing by the fact that my grandma had died a couple months before that.
Hmm. Oh, right.
Um, it was definitely not my grandma he was referring to. Had to have been a grandfather. And I'm like, no, my grandfather is definitely alive. If my grandpa had died, I would have known. It would have been a big surprise to everybody in the world, everybody in my world.
Okay. What is he,
And
Superman?
no, he was a fairly prominent teacher in my local university.
Right.
A big family. He was fairly well known in his generation.
Hmm.
So
So it would have rippled out.
yeah. The fact that he lived in my room was feet away from his living room.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. When you start adding logic.
I was in a way looking for this other Jared. I was looking for this other person because I delivered papers as a child. During the brief period that I stopped delivering newspapers, I my final paycheck disappeared.
Hmm.
It never got sent. And
Wait, did so it went to the other guy?
well, yes, he coincidentally quit delivering newspapers at the same time I did.
I,
No one ever questioned it. Like he didn't question that a random check was sent to him.
I
Oh,
God. At least I don't have
so
that problem. Like I won't say it on the podcast, but I shared my name with you. It's pretty fucking distinct. I've never had anyone confuse me for anyone else. In fact, I've had people at least twice that I can remember distinctly, probably more, tell me, "Really? Okay, what's your real name?" And I'm just like, "That is my real name." No. No, like yes, I'm not going to show you my birth certificate or my driving license or all of these other things that prove it slash make reference to it, I guess. Yes, this is my name and has been for 30 something years. Like, whoa, what do you want me to say here, pal? Want to take us outside? Huh?
uh, it's a briefly famous name in the United States.
Yeah, and then
I couldn't, I wouldn't be. I've never met anybody else with the same last name, but
it's not spelled the
discount
same,
it.
so that helps.
But yeah, it's
But
that too.
eh,
The really odd thing about my problems is,
hmm.
for some reason, most of the people with my first name that I've encountered in my life have a very similar last name.
Ooh,
There are more than a few people in my hometown born near the same time I was with the same first and last name. If you chop off the N three letters, that opens up a few more. You change it to Perkins, that opens up the girl who had the same first name that sat in front of me in eighth grade.
hmm.
I wonder if that was a hallucination because I have no idea what happened to her. It was
Is this one of
Yeah.
those like small town limited gene pool things? So like people mishear last
N-
names and then they just get slightly changed, or
No, it's the first name peaked in popularity around my birth. My
fertile?
hometown had a lot of English immigrants.
Oh, like England
Um,
English.
yes.
Right.
Even the ones with my last name, if I'm related to them, it's not close. It's distinct branches of, if we're related, it's a long time ago.
Hmm.
I really hope that whatever brought us into this story, cat gloves.
Oh God. All right, yeah. So I'm staring at my notes. I don't know how the fuck we got onto that from thing, and basically I just wanted to add of I have posted the transcript of our first episode on the Pillow Fort community, which is no spaces, finding our words. So if you just type out finding our words as you would normally and then just take out the two spaces, boom, that's the name of the community. I will link that in the posts. When you take over editing, we'll probably have to look at this and figure out how to keep doing it. What I've been doing is editing in Audacity, and this time I'm going to try editing in podcastle.ai. I don't use the AI part. Grab the transcript from that, do the editing to make it actually match instead of it just being whatever
Mhm.
words it thinks it might sound like. Match that with the audio, roughly. Various levels of editing to various media forms, whatever, linking to that. So that's going to be like what I do from now on. Oh yeah, I've got a note to ramble about PIP requirements. We've only got 10 minutes before we all explode. Just really
Oh,
quickly in the
tick, tick,
UK.
tick, tick.
Boom. I can't remember the song. Personal independence payment used to be called DLA or disability living allowance. It's now different because Tories. It's not quite the same, but roughly Tories as conservatives is sort of Republicans, but not, because everything in the States is way farther over to the right than it is in the UK, and everything in the UK is way farther over to the right than it is in continental Europe. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Point being, PIP, personal independent payments, is a bit like Social Security, disability payments in the States, national insurance, whatever.
Mhm.
There's going to be like somebody maybe years down the line, if this podcast makes it big, they're going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's very different. Clearly, a statute 74 says blah, blah, blah. PIP is basic. Can you do stuff like wash yourself, dress yourself, use the bathroom, get yourself out of the house to travel anywhere you need to go, yada, yada, yada. I just wanted to quickly point out for anyone listening who lives in the UK, you don't need a diagnosis for PIP, although it makes it a damn sight easier. What you need is to be able to describe the tasks that you do. Like it's got a list of those things. There's daily living, like I just said, and mobility. Mobility more being like, can you handle trains? Do buses make you horrifically nauseous? Can you drive? Do you need prompting assistance? Yada yada. All of those tasks specifically have the implication of, can you do whichever task it is reliably, to an acceptable standard, as often as you need to, for as long as you need to, without pain, discomfort, breaks, aids, prompting, assistance, or supervision. Anything, any of those tasks or related ones. Apparently, most people wake up around the time that they intend to, unless they had like a party night the night before, and they just get dressed, do their teeth, eat breakfast, whatever, get in the car to go to work or get the bus, whatever, and they end up at work and they come back and they're tired, but do the dishes, do the laundry, whatever, and then they go to bed. They have no problems usually. This is what I mean because it's like everyone's different, but generally speaking, most people don't have issues waking up and then being stuck in bed for a couple hours because of pain or brain fog or they're exhausted no matter how much sleep they got last night. They can already kind of guess what they're going to put on. Whereas if you struggle with that, you might be like, okay, well, what am I doing today? What's the weather going to be like? Do my joints hurt? Do I need to wear something where I can put the brace on easily? Or, even something like being autistic and being on the bus. Like, I know that if I do go on the bus, it's better for the planet, but I'm gonna get horrifically nauseous and probably migraine. I can't say it's not like literally 100% of the time, but it's like 80-90% of the time I'm gonna get a migraine from being on the bus.
Mhm.
Yes, I can physically go to the bus, unless my joints hurt. If my partner goes with me, I can get to the bus on time even, and somehow pay for it. I don't know. The effect of that would be being in pain, being nauseous, and really struggling even more to do things afterward. That was a whole info dump, but I just had that note. I just wanted to get that out there. Like,
Oh,
Yes, answer correctly and honestly and truthfully, but also remember these questions are written by people who want to save money.
yes.
So you need to answer not necessarily on your worst day. I cannot legally say that, but answer on the days where you need the help because the days where you don't need the help don't fucking matter now, do they? The days where you actually need the help are the ones where you do in fact need, in my case, a cane or a joint brace or noise canceling headphones because the noise is going to make you want to rip somebody's skin off. Just because you don't need it every day doesn't mean you don't need it.
Yeah.
But
When I first went on oxygen almost 10 years ago,
hmm,
I also got a disability placard. I struggled accepting that because I technically could walk from anywhere in the parking lot to to the entrance of the store.
yeah,
I technically could get around.
yeah,
It just sucked.
yep,
The last time I lived with my parents, I technically could take out my own garbage.
hmm,
It just took up an entire day, despite the fact that it was one or two trash cans,
hmm,
because it was so insanely exhausting.
hmm,
It, yeah, I could do things. For the past couple of years, my nephews have been assisting me with a lot of that stuff, and I can't even tell you how much time it saves me not having to take out my garbage, even though I even live close. The garbage is on the other side of a wall. Garbage cans, the
hmm.
garage the garbage cans are 20 feet away. So it is really not a lot of effort, but it's a lot more effort than most people.
Yeah. They just don't. I think able-bodied minded whatever people, abled folks, genuinely just don't understand the concept of disability because the number of conversations I've had with not just lay people, but literally clinicians and DWP staff, so Department of Work and Pensions, the number of conversations I have had where I've said, I cannot do this thing. And they go, but I've seen you do that thing. And I say, yes, I did it, and now it hurts. If you asked me to do it again, I could do it, and it would hurt even more. Yeah, but you could do it. But it would hurt. Most people, apparently, people have told me that this is the case. Most people, their knees don't hurt like fuck when they drive for like more than 5 or 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Uh, it sounds nice, frankly.
Yeah.
Again, I've had conversations with people who are in their 60s and 70s who drive and their knees don't hurt. And I am in my 30s, and my knees started hurting when I was about 14,
Mhm.
maybe younger, because it was kind of like all my joints started hurting. But I also drew and played games. I'm not. It's like people think that there are privileges you get for being disabled, and it's like, no, I already stick out a lot. I don't want to stick out more with
Yeah.
like a mask and my thigh high socks and booty shorts and fucking a cane, and I'm obviously young holding one as well. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
the first one are things that like I choose to have because I think long socks look really pretty. The cane is so that my knees don't hurt. It was nice yesterday. I actually went out because I had to get the eye exam and stuff. My prescription hasn't changed, but I might have Irlen syndrome, which is the thing that people confuse with dyslexia, with like the colors.
Uh-huh.
I went and like I went in fine, mostly. Like my knees did hurt on the drive in. My partner came in, brought the cane. I was using that the rest of the day. And I was just leaning on it more and more as the day went on. But luckily, nobody said anything. Nobody made a big deal of it. They just let me get on with my day. But I was genuinely just expecting someone to say something stupid. And I was just, yeah. It feels weird to think of myself as physically disabled, but I guess that was always the case. And I just didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Disability benefits are to make us close to what everybody else lives normally.
Yeah.
Close.
If you agree with that, remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, add to playlists, favorite, tell your barber.
Tell yeah, please tell your barber and have them tell everybody else.
Yeah. Put out a bat signal.
Yes.
Oh, use the hashtag. Tell us what you want to see.
Yes.
What was the hashtag? Find our words pod.
Find our words